Now, what are two moves? There's two moves in the market that you can make. One is going long, which is everybody knows what going long is. So that's buying low and selling high. You go long to because you think the company's valuable and they will increase in price, and you can capitalize off buying low and selling high, the difference, right? So what if I told you, I don't know if you guys are aware, but you can make money when a stock goes down too. And is this a same exact thing as going long, but opposite. So you're gonna sell high and buy low. The
Shorting
same,
the stock, right?
yeah. So we're gonna discuss how that looks like in a few. I know it took me a while to understand that because nobody explained it good. But so essentially, what happens here is that the broker will lend you the shares so you can sell them immediately at a high price, and then you're banking on it going low, going lower than what you sold it for, so you can buy in low. So it's the same exact thing as going long, but opposite. And we're gonna see what that looks like right now. So this is the Thinkorswim platform. It is my favorite platform on the desktop. This is an application from TD Ameritrade. So you could open up a TD Ameritrade account and use your TD Ameritrade credentials to log into their app, which is called Thinkorswim. I love them for desktop purposes. I prefer Webull on the mobile. So I have multiple accounts. So again, this is Thinkorswim, and we're gonna see what going long looks like, which everybody knows what that looks like, but we're gonna get into it. So this is one of my favorite upcoming companies. It's called Fubo, and if you're not aware, Fubo is like imagine ESPN. So they're a sports network, right? And the reason why I'm very bullish on them. So bullish means up market. Think about a bull charging up, right? And a bearish market is going down. So think about a bear hibernating. So that's an easy way to remember. Bears hibernate downward, and bulls charge upwards. So this is football sports. They they're You can hear that? You can hear that? No? Can't hear that? Okay. So anyway, Gilbert Arenas is on here. He has an excellent show, excellent podcast. He was an excellent player, but he has a very intelligent basketball mind. But anyway, so that's a nutshell of football. They have several sports networks, and how they're gonna revolutionize the game is that they want to make live sports betting a thing. So while you're watching the game, you'll be able to bet on the game right there then and there. Like it'll be interactive. It'll be like a video game almost. So they recently acquired a sports book in order to do that, and that's where you see this up uptrend when they acquired that sports book. Um, Actually, no, that uptrend was like here or something. I don't know, but it was recent. But anyway, once they
Yeah, back in
execute that,
December.
they're gonna be huge. But let's get into what going long and going short is. So when we go long, we're gonna buy low and we're gonna sell high. But what does that look like in like terms, in like trading terms? So we're gonna open up a position, let's say here at 30, right? We're gonna open up a position at 30. So what that's gonna look like, let's say we wanna buy 100 shares, right? So we're gonna open up a long position at $30, right? We're gonna buy 100 shares. So that's gonna be minus $3,000, right? In order to open up a long position. Right? Open up a long position at $30. No, annotated by this arrow right here. And let's say we want to sell at $60, right? So in order to do that, we have to close the long position. So we close the long position. And what that's going to look like is going to be minus 100 shares. Close the long position at 60. Right? So what that's going to look like is plus $6,000, equaling a net gain of $3,000, right? Nice, simple, easy. Everybody knows that. Buy low, sell high. So that's what that looks like over here. Text arrow right. Right here. Boom, right? We're gonna open up a long position at $30. That's plus 100 shares. And in order to close it, we have to sell those 100 shares. So we add 100 shares at 30 and we sell 100 shares at 60. So what that's gonna like, plus 100 shares minus 100 shares equals 0 net shares, right? Open up at 30, close at 60. That's what that looks like. Now, we can capitalize off this movement downward here by doing the same exact thing but opposite, to capitalize from 60 to the downward motion to 30. And how do we do that? We open up a short position. That's what going short means. So what that looks like is we're gonna open up a short position at $60. Right? So it's gonna be the same thing as minus 100 shares. And where do you get these shares from if you don't even own them? Right? Once you press short, it's going to be a tab. There's going to be a buy tab, a sell tab, and it's going to be a short tab. So when you click short 100 shares, what's actually happening is the broker is lending you those 100 shares so you can sell them immediately. So that's what that looks like. So they're essentially giving you a loan. They're loaning you that so you can open up a short position. So it's going to be minus 100 shares, and it's going to cost $6,000 for you to open, right? So we're going short here. So let me change the color. I'm going to put red. Open up a short position here, right? 100 shares. Now, Let's say we're right, and in this case, it goes down from 60 all the way down to 30. So now we capitalized off the movement downward. And how do we close this open short position? If we're minus 100 shares, in order to close it, we have to buy back the shares down here. So what that's going to look like is we got to close that position, right? Close the short position. Position at $30. That's going to look like plus 100 shares because we're buying back those shares that we sold to make a net transaction, a net share transaction of 0. So that's going to look like this. $3,000. So it's a net gain of $3,000. Matter of fact, let me use yellow.
Quick question for you, Junior.
Sure.
Usually with these short, this is where I usually like trip over myself.
Yeah.
The shorts work the same as the puts, right? Because they expire, right? So you have to repay the stock back by the expiration date.
Yes, they don't really necessarily expire. What happens is that, let's say you have the issue comes since you're borrowing those shares. The brokers is taking those shares from somebody's portfolio. That's the issue. So when there's a high amount of people buying into the stock, you have to give back those shares because those shares aren't yours. You borrowed them to sell them. So if a lot of people are buying the stock, like there's a high amount of volume, you have to buy back those shares because you borrowed those shares to sell them. Okay, you have an open short position. You have to close that short position. That's called a margin call. So that's what happened with GameStop actually. So what happened with GameStop is that a whole bunch of hedge funds had an open short position, like let's say like at 60, right? And what happened was a high amount of volume, so pushed the stock price upward. So in that case, they were at a loss. So they went short here, but then everybody and their mother started buying GameStop and it went all the way up. So anything past 60, they're at a loss. And guess what? They didn't want to cover those that open short position. They didn't want to pay back $13 billion in losses. But what ended up happening? The large amount of volume caused a margin call for all those hedge funds, and that's called a short squeeze. So a short squeeze is when everybody that's short closes their position at the same time. And in order to close the position, right, you need to buy back those shares. So
Hence driving up price.
hence driving a price up. Absolutely. So that's the whole GameStop fiasco in one condensed paragraph. So that's what happened. So um, a short squeeze happened. That's called a short squeeze. So did I do a good job of explaining short?
Yeah.
Sure did.
You got it, Bunny?
You should start a Udemy course.
Ah,
$9.99.
$9.95. So that's going long and that's going short. Those are the two moves you can make in the stock market. There's other moves that are more advanced, but let's stick to the basics first, right? So going long, you capitalize on the movement going upward. Going short, you capitalize on the movement going downward. Okay. Now, what's the next question? So what's a good entry point? How do we decide our entry point? I mean, all I see is a bunch of sticks. Like, I don't know what they mean. So let's go to a fresh chart. Let's go to Apple, right? So this is a fresh chart. No studies on them. No kind of